everyone, and welcome back. Today we are diving deep into the world of Ayurvedic hair care.
Ooh, interesting.
It's something I've been wanting to learn more about,
Yeah.
and specifically this 2-oil routine for amazing scalp and hair health.
Right. And, we'll be looking at Ayurveda's website for that. And we'll also be looking at this book, Don't Starve Your Hair, by Dr. Nembi Nambutiri.
Okay, great. And I just say, one of the things that really caught my eye about the ebook was the claim that most of us are walking around with unhealthy scalps and we don't even realize it.
Yeah.
And it just made me think back to our mothers and our grandmothers.
Yeah.
They always seem to have amazing hair.
Right.
So what were they doing that we're not?
I think a big part of it is they just weren't exposed to as many chemicals and pollutants as we are now.
Right.
And that really stresses out our scalps.
That makes sense.
And, in Ayurveda, there's this idea that the scalp is like the soil for your hair.
Oh, I like that analogy. So if our scalp is like the soil, what happens when it's unhealthy? I mean, can it really impact hair growth that much?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Think about it this way. Would you expect a prize-winning rose to grow in depleted soil?
Right.
It's the same with your hair. If you want it to be healthy and vibrant, you need to start with a healthy foundation.
So how do we even know if our scalps are unhealthy?
Well, think about it. Do you have an itchy scalp?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Especially when I change shampoos.
Right. Or how about dryness? Or maybe your scalp gets really oily.
Okay, yeah, I've definitely experienced some of those things.
Yeah, these are all signs that your scalp could be struggling.
I just thought they were normal, like part of life.
Well, they're common, but they don't have to be your normal.
So this 2-oil routine that the ebook talks about can help with all of this.
Yeah, that's the idea. Ayurveda is all about understanding your body's unique needs and creating balance. And in this case, we're talking about balancing something called the kapha dosha, which is basically like the energy that governs nutrient flow to the scalp.
Okay, hold on, doshas. Kapha. This is where I get a little lost.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Can you break that down for me?
Sure. So you can think of your doshas as like your body's unique energy blueprint.
Okay.
And everyone has a combination of 3 of them, Vata, Pitta, and Kapha.
Okay.
And they all play a role in our overall health. But when it comes to the scalp, Kapha is the one that's really in charge of managing the nutrients that reach your hair.
So it's like a gatekeeper for my hair follicles.
Exactly.
I like it.
And when Kapha is balanced, nutrients can flow freely to the hair roots, and that promotes healthy growth.
Okay.
But if kapha is out of whack, well, it can create all sorts of problems.
Okay, that makes sense. So how does this 2-oil routine fit into all of this? How does it actually address these kapha imbalances?
That's what's so cool about this approach. It's not a one-size-fits-all solution. The 2 oils actually work together to create the perfect environment for hair growth. So the first oil, the scalp prep oil that focuses on. So the scalp prep oil is all about clearing away any buildup or gunk that might be clogging up your scalp.
Oh, okay. So it's like laying the groundwork.
Exactly. Think of
Yeah.
it like this. You wouldn't plant a garden in soil that's already full of weeds and rocks, right?
Right.
You got to clear all that out first to give your plants the best chance to thrive.
Okay, I'm with you.
So this oil helps to remove things like dandruff product buildup, even pollution. It basically preps your scalp so that the second oil can really work its magic.
Okay, so tell me about the second oil, the hair growth oil. What's so special about it?
Well, as the name suggests, it's packed with ingredients that are specifically designed to promote hair growth. But here's the thing.
Yeah.
A lot of traditional hair oils just focus on dumping a bunch of nutrients onto your scalp,
Okay.
but they don't actually address any underlying imbalances that might be preventing your scalp from absorbing those nutrients in the first place.
Ah, so it's like trying to water a plant that's already drowning.
Exactly. It's not going to do much good.
Okay.
So the hair growth oil is different because it contains ingredients that both balance kapha and deliver those essential nutrients directly to your hair follicles.
So it's like a 2-pronged approach. It's addressing the root cause and providing the nourishment.
You got it.
That's amazing. Okay, I have to ask about this because I've always heard that leaving oil in your hair overnight is the best thing you can do. Is that true?
It seems to make sense, right?
Yeah.
If a little bit of oil is good, a lot must be better. But actually, it's not that simple.
Really?
Yeah, remember how we talked about kapha being responsible for managing that nutrient flow? Well, if you overload your scalp with oil for hours on end, especially overnight, it can actually throw kapha out of balance.
Oh, wow. So it's about finding that balance.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Too much of a good thing can actually backfire.
Okay, that's good to know. So what about different hair types? I mean, there are so many products out there that are specifically for curly hair or dry hair or oily hair.
Right, it's overwhelming.
Does Ayurveda say anything about that?
Well, Ayurveda takes a more holistic view. It's less about like targeting specific hair types and more about creating a healthy foundation for all hair to thrive.
Okay.
Think of it this way. All hair, regardless of its texture or type, needs a healthy scalp to grow from.
Right.
It's like building a house. You can paint the walls any color you want, but if the foundation is shaky, the whole structure is compromised.
That's a great analogy.
This two-oil routine, with its focus on balancing the scalp and creating that healthy foundation, it can potentially benefit anyone.
That makes sense. So this all sounds great in theory, but does it actually work? What kind of results are we talking about here?
Well, this is where things get really exciting. The Ayurveda website has some incredible testimonials from people who have seen amazing results with this routine.
Oh, really? Like what?
Okay, so get this. 80% of users reported a significant reduction in hair fall after using the two oils consistently.
Wow, 80%. That's huge.
I know, right? And it's not just about stopping the shed. 90% of users also noticed a visible improvement in their scalp health. Things like less dandruff, less irritation, just an overall healthier scalp.
So they're really seeing a difference. But are those results just a coincidence, or is there actually a connection between this routine and hair growth?
That's the thing about Ayurveda. It's not just some random mystical practice. It's rooted in thousands of years of observation and understanding of the human body.
Right.
And what we're seeing with these results is that by addressing the root cause of the problem, those potential kapha imbalances, and providing the right nourishment, we're creating the optimal environment for healthy hair growth.
Yeah.
It's like giving your hair follicles a fighting chance.
I love that. So it's not about quick fixes or overnight miracles. It's about making sustainable changes that support long-term hair health.
Exactly. And, it's important to remember that hair growth takes time. We're talking about a journey here.
Okay, so for those of us who are ready to embark on this hair care journey, what are the key takeaways here? Okay, so to sum it all up, it sounds like the biggest takeaway here is that a healthy scalp equals healthy hair.
100%.
And we've been talking about this two-oil routine as a way to achieve that. But it seems like Ayurveda is about so much more than just the products we use.
You're absolutely right. It's really a whole philosophy of health and well-being. It's about understanding your body's unique needs and working with it, not against it.
So are there other things we can be doing in our everyday lives that might be impacting our scalp health without us even realizing it?
Oh, definitely. I mean, think about it. Our bodies are complex systems, right?
Yeah.
Everything's connected. So things like stress levels, diet, sleep quality, all of these things can actually affect our doshas. Remember how we talked about kapha being responsible for scalp health?
Right.
Well, if our kapha is out of whack because we're not taking care of ourselves in other areas, it's going to show up in our hair.
So it's really a holistic approach.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not just about slapping on some fancy hair product and hoping for the best. It's about creating a lifestyle that supports overall wellness.
I love that. So for our listeners who are feeling inspired to explore Ayurveda and maybe try this two-oil routine, what's our advice to them? Where do they even begin?
Well, for this specific routine, you can check out the Ayurveda website. They have more information there. And I always recommend Dr. Nambi's book, Don't Starve Your Hair.
Yeah, it's a great read. It really breaks down these complex Ayurvedic concepts in a way that's easy to understand.
Exactly. And it's packed with practical tips that you can start incorporating into your routine right away.
Awesome. Well, we will definitely link to the book and the website in our show notes for everyone. And a huge thank you to our expert for joining us today. This was amazing.
It was my pleasure.
Yeah.
Honestly, we could talk about this stuff all day.
I know, right? There's so much to learn. But unfortunately, we are out of time. So to our listeners, thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you next time for another deep dive.